So then when we look a little more detailed at the 2 years more immediately, we're looking at Jupiter and Mars cycles now. Everybody's got these textures. It's not like you're defining, you're just tuning in, going, and you're trying to fathom what it could be against the nature of the person, to the transits, to the Saturn cycle. You're trying to get, you get the time perspective of where someone is. And once you got that anchored in, then you go to the progression and see other things that get added into this. This is the 2-year graph, the more immediate things coming in, if he's coming to see you. October, November, he's had Mars conjunct his ascendant. So by October till Mars went into his 12th house over his ascendant. It's over his Mars in November. So he's been kind of pumped this last little while. Just on his personal energy, it's up. By Christmas, Jupiter squares the moon and Neptune, so it's just family, abundance, perhaps some overindulgence or whatever. But the Jupiter comes down, the Jupiter is coming down. It's gone into Capricorn now. Here it is, December 2nd, yesterday. So it's gone into Capricorn. And it's going down to the IC. It's following the Saturn. It's going over the IC, then it's going to come back and conjunct the Saturn. So Saturn's conjunct Saturn, Pluto conjunct the Saturn, and Jupiter's going to come up over this year and conjunct the Saturn over the IC. So all the energy is happening in how he's living, where he's living, what he's got to do, what he's motivated to do. Not so much where he fits in. Although he has that Cancer on the midheaven, ruled by the moon. So status, work, family, could be the healer, work healing, to turn a hobby into a career. But it's, he's being challenged. If I don't work so hard, how am I going to survive and get by? But really, he's worked so hard. He's set up way better than me. I've worked for myself, no Canada pension. So it changes. He's got things set up. He's got a certain stability that will allow him to do the things he wants. It's going to take some effort. But the Jupiter adds, this is just within a month. The Jupiter's on the IC, and that's a teacher reaching your deepest point. That's understanding deeply. That's like your mystical understanding, your comprehension of things clicks in then. And then the Saturn return follows it in a week or two after that, on the 20th. And Pluto hits the Saturn by February. So all of these things is, I know I got to do these. I know he's being opened up to understanding what he's motivated to do, and understanding, trying to let go of the old and start the new. The Saturn return is the next thing. You're starting your spiritual cycle of your life. How are you going to live it? You can't live it running around trying to do things like you did to get security in the 30s to 60s. It has to be on a different style. And if you have your faith kicked into that, if you have your spirituality inside of that, this is really a blossoming. If you don't, it might be a bit more challenging. But certainly, these are the conjunction of the IC, Saturn to Saturn, Pluto to Saturn. There's some confrontation about, I think that's probably about work or authority or fear of not working or fear of what to do. There's a fear there, but the Saturn's still saying you have to make your commitment. The Jupiter's there saying, here's opportunities. And his opportunities, he's just literally, just as he finishes astrology class, Jupiter's on his IC. Why wouldn't he start to work and do things? Even if he is afraid of it, even if there is some caution around it. Even if he had a really straight job of some sort, he still has to build this other identity up to build up some things that he's got to do. What happened if the career says, we'll give you another 5-10 years, come work for us and just do this, and put your other stuff on hold again? The question is, does he put it on hold, or does he go for what he wants to do? This combination doesn't happen again in his lifetime. So this is his big move. Then by March, Saturn squaring his Sun, conjuncting the Jupiter and squaring the Mercury. We saw that the Saturn squared the Sun and the Mercury, and then going on and off through 2020. We see that in the 8-year graph. This adds the Saturn to the Jupiter and the Pluto to the Saturn. There's the fear there. Oh, geez, I have to do this now. I have to do this. Oh my, I really have to do this. And at the same time, Saturn's coming to Jupiter. Do you make a commitment around what you understand, or don't you? But the main thing is they've all gone over the IC affect his motivation, and it's changed him. So then it comes up, Saturn squares Mercury in July. So little delays in July. Then in In July again, Pluto hits Saturn, Saturn hits Jupiter, Saturn squares the sun. These things all pile up in July. So that's an intense moment of building up things, of facing things. It's being true to oneself. It's adjusting one's goals, or they're being adjusted for you. Maybe he gets a warning, you can only work for a couple more years or something like this at the job. Maybe something changes from that side. If that's so, that would be forcing him to do something for himself, which long-term is probably a good thing. December, Saturn squares the sun again the last time. Then in December also, just December 2020, after Saturn opposes the sun, squares the sun, Jupiter conjuncts Jupiter, which again is a lucky thing. It goes over the IC, it's in the 4th house, it's in Capricorn. It's not in its best time, but it's understanding Saturn. So it's making me looking for understanding, what am I going to do in my old age? What am I going to do in serious? What am I going to do in the next 30 years? The Jupiter's gone over to Saturn to check out the understanding of the commitment. It's coming back to itself. It's going to have a strong conclusion, how I want to live. And if the teacher in him is going to wake up, and the writer in him is going to wake up, it's going to write up under this. But then, even at the beginning of 2020, Mars opposes the sun, so the circumstances still delay it, complications. But by February 2021, Jupiter's squaring in Mars, and there's sort of an anger and rage and a changing it just as and then this 2 years didn't go right into the point where Uranus is going to start squaring his Mars, or opposing his Mars, which is the point where it says, well, I don't know if I want to. Let's see, oh yeah, we do have it here. So I went for the last bit. Mars up in the midheaven, but Uranus by the next July, 2 Julys, July 21, Uranus opposes Mars. So that's the point where there's breaking with the past or breaking things. That's the point where do I hold in or don't I, or do I get let go of or do I not let go of, or what's stable or what's not. That's changing the old way of doing things. If you're fighting it, that's going to be more, so if you're saying, okay, that means I have to change here, and you start working towards it, that's easier to deal with. But when you're married, it could be just the wife is starting doing something different that's disrupting what he's doing, or it can come in from other areas. I think it's probably coming from work, but it could be tied into if the wife stopped working, or I don't know. It's just, he's got a built-in psychology about having enough money, not having to owe money, not having to be out of control of those things. Okay, so we got a sense of their struggles ahead, but there's Saturn struggles leading up to be prepared, to set up defenses so that you can deal with the Uranus disruptions of the Mars. You're not going to be really strong or really powerfully active. The job isn't going to be that stable through 2021. You build up a little resource. You do a little extra overtime with the Saturn squaring the Sun and Mercury, and you build up a few resources so that you can get through this. If the job went, maybe you're having to do the astrology and you're scrambling and you're not making the same amount of money, but it's changing the way things go. When Uranus changes things, it's usually permanent. So if somebody said, we're going to let you go for 6 months or then come back, it's probably gone more permanently. Like, so these nerves are being hit, and his ability to cope with things. He's certainly with Uranus on the Mars, he's not going to be patient. And it's breaking up the illusion of Neptune Mars in his natal chart of, I believe I'm doing it. It's shaking up that belief. The Uranus opposing the Mars is shaking up that belief. I'm doing this, I believe what I'm supposed to do, and suddenly he can't. It's changing what he's doing. You know, like the fanciful side is breaking away and a more real side is coming in. But in that time period, it's more letting go. Someone falls away, something breaks away. If you had a kid, a teenager, it would be the teenager taking off and getting in trouble or breaking away. Just when you set everything up for them. Like, so I'm not sure what it is. We see that it is. Okay, so that's a part of this. Where are we? Yeah, good. Okay. So now we're going to try and look at the progressions. We're not going to try, we're going to look at the progressions. And when this is just the natal chart with the progressions around it, and have the progressed ascendant, but you can see the progressed sun has moved long as in Sag, 26 degrees Sag. In 4 years, it's going through Capricorn. In 13 years, it's conjuncting his IC, the most mystical deep point in his chart, in his life. Well, just where Saturn has just gone over. Now, this is a story. This is something that's got to be arousing your curiosity. What's his destiny? What's he trying to do? What's going to, his progressed Sun and Mercury and Mars are all conjunct, and Venus, isn't it? They're all in Sag. They're all in the third house of studying and learning. Wow. And it's going to come down and reach his motivation point. They're all going to Capricorn. They're all going to reach this point. So there's big inner things going on, not career things, big inner changes. So from his chart with the Sun, Mercury in the first house, his progressive going on. He's like the student and the learner all his life. And this goes down to when it's in his third house, it's like it's 38 years of being the student. Well, that's not building up to career. It's building up to greater depth, the greater understanding, deeper inner things. Okay, so this is just the first wave. We've got to look at this in a little more detail. First, we're going to look at with the progressions. Here's the progressed Sun. There's the progressed moon. So Sun's in Sag, Moon's in Taurus. It's still, well, let's see where we are. It's probably the gibbous moon phase. Let's see where we are here. The gibbous moon phase has started in January of 2019. This is the progressed moon, progressed to moon to the Sun. And it gives you the hard aspects. It gives you the 8 phases. So the opposite, full moon opposition, will come on September 12, 2022. So he's in this gibbous, building up to inner full moon, to completing things. That's 22. That's right at the same time as Uranus finishes with the Mars, or it's hitting the Mars, and the Pluto's hitting a squaring his Sun, and he's finished what I say this. There's a completion. This is as far as I can go this way. What's next? There's an awareness kind of deja vu there. And when we look at the eclipses for the year, he's born in October, so he doesn't have eclipses. Like this, the eclipses that year were in February, March, and August. His progressions are October, November, December, January. So it's not into the eclipse. It's not, you can see it here. There's his nodes in Aquarius, and the progressed Sun will not go along to reach the nodes. So if the nodes were anywhere between, when the Sun hits the nodes and the moon catches up, that's when the eclipses are. Then the eclipses happen. But the new moons and full moons still happen. So I want to read the. One second here. I'm just going to put this down. Okay, I'll put this down here like this. And I want to pull out the moon phases. I want to look through the gibbous moon phase. The moon phases just give a nice waxing gibbous. Where are we about? Waiting for, there we go.